Teacher Bestie, welcome back. Can I be honest with you? This school year wasn't just hard because I was learning new teaching strategies or trying to get up to speed with the teaching standards, right? It was hard because I was learning how to become someone new without feeling like I had to leave parts of myself behind. And somewhere along the way, I almost lost Patrice. Like, if you've ever walked through a major transition, whether it's a new school, new grade level, new career, or just a new season altogether, I think this conversation is for you. Stay tuned. Hey guys, this is Keeping It Teacherish. If you're new here, I'm Patrice. I'm glad you're here. If you're old, welcome back. Let's get into it, shall we? One of the reasons I felt like I was losing myself this year is because I felt like I had to choose. Like, one thing I haven't shared much is that before stepping into the classroom, I served in full-time ministry. For years, that's what my life looked like most recently, right? Now, granted, I have the teaching experience and all the things, but most recently, the Lord was really using me abroad. I mean, preaching internationally and teaching all over the world. And in my mind, that was it. That's what God called me to do. That was my wheelhouse. I love it. Loved it and still currently love it. It was who people knew me as, right? I began to be known and invited to different places. It was where I felt like I was making a real impact. And then God opened a door for teaching. And so, Teacher Bestie, we're getting really up close and personal here. I struggled more than I expected with walking through a door that God opened. Not because I don't enjoy teaching, not because there was a lack of experience or I felt nervous or like I couldn't do it or intimidated, any of that. I actually found myself enjoying it. And honestly, that probably scared me a lot more than I'd like to admit. Because somewhere in my mind, I started believing that if I enjoy this, what does that say about the last chapter that I really loved? Right? Like, if I embrace teaching, then am I actually leaving ministry behind or shutting that door? And for me, again, I loved that. So have you ever felt that? Maybe not with ministry, maybe with another school or another job or another season in your life where sometimes we think loving what's in front of us somehow dishonors or discredits what was behind us. So that's when my identity started getting blurry, right? A few videos ago, I shared one of the biggest lessons this school year taught me was that my identity is bigger than my classroom, or my identity is not just limited to my classroom. And if you're watching that, you saw I got, a little emotional while filming that. This because I realized that I wasn't just talking about teaching anymore. I was talking about me and getting very vulnerable. I had unknowingly attached my identity to what I did instead of who I was. And so first in that conversation, it was ministry, that it was then becoming teaching. And the truth is, neither one is meant to define me. They're both assignments, not the identity, not my identity. And I think the reality is, as believers, sometimes the assignment is so intricately woven into who we are, right? And we enjoy it so much that if we're not careful, our identity becomes the assignment and not simply us operating in the assignment. So getting back on task here with what I want to talk about. I wasn't just exhausted from the work of teaching and the emotional drain and the mental drain and all the things that I was having to exercise and get into, right? And really utilize all of my strengths and skills to be successful. But I was actually also grieving at the same time. And I wasn't aware. I just kept telling myself that I was tired, and I was. But as I reflect this summer and go through the reflection worksheet, I realized something deeper was happening, that I was actually grieving. I was grieving the season that had ended, and I was grieving the version of me that I thought I'd always be. I was grieving the idea, right, of who I was supposed to be and who God called me to be. And so also grieving the expectations that I have for my future, grieving what my future looked like. And I don't think we talk about this enough as teachers. Sometimes we're not just burned out, we're also grieving. We're grieving students who moved on because this is the only profession where we fall in love with kids. You have them for a year and then you have to say goodbye every single year. You wave goodbye to a class you'll never teach again. Sometimes it's a school that you've left. Sometimes it's a role that's changed. A dream that didn't happen the way we planned, right? That kind of grief is real and it doesn't go away overnight. And I don't think we acknowledge it. I think we carry it into the next school year. I think we just keep going, calling it exhaustion. Here's what I think God has been teaching me that I have reluctantly learned. Purpose isn't confined to a title, right? And I think we know that in our minds, but really when life starts adjusting. So whether I'm standing on a stage with a microphone or standing in front of my classroom at a whiteboard, I still get to encourage people. Like I still get to speak life. I still get to make a difference. While the platform has changed and maybe even the stage for that fact, the purpose doesn't, right? The assignment has shifted, but my identity is the same. My mission and call and purpose from God is still the same. And honestly, Teacher Bestie, maybe you need to hear that too. Like maybe your purpose is bigger than the building you're working in. Maybe it's bigger than your current job title. Maybe it's bigger than one season. Maybe you need to hear that yes, your purpose is still big and it's not confined to where you are. So this summer, I'm choosing to stop asking, who am I supposed to be? Am I where I'm supposed to be? But instead, I'm asking, who is God inviting me to become in this season? How is God inviting me to show up in this season? I'm choosing to stop carrying yesterday into tomorrow. I'm choosing to believe that I don't have to choose between honoring my past and embracing the future. I could truly do both and be good at both. Yes, maybe that's what the summer is really about. Maybe it's not about trying to become someone completely different or do something completely different, but maybe it's about becoming more fully who I've been all along and reconciling the two. Because all year I've been trying to live, right, in silo to each assignment, but the reality is God's called me into both. So friend, if you've watched the last few videos, then you know we've been talking about burnout, we've been talking about rest and recovery, and about what this school year has taught us. But underneath all of those conversations is one lingering question. Who are we when the school year is over? Who are we when we're not grading papers, when we're not managing a classroom, when you're not having to check email? Because the answer to those questions actually matter, right? You are more than your classroom. You are more than your title or current job. You are more than your productivity. And sometimes that's where we reside. And the healthier you become as a person, I believe, the more freely you'll love, teach, and serve the students who walk through your classroom doors each year. If this video resonated with you, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever felt like you were losing yourself in a season of teaching or even in another season of life, period? Like, what helped you find your way back? What tools, what tactics, what strategies did you use? And then lastly, if you're still processing the school year or you don't even know where to start, I'd love to help. I'd love for you to download my free Rest, Renew, Reset Reflection Worksheet. The reason I think this is going to be good is because it's the exact same process that I've been walking through myself. And I truly hope that it helps you to step into your next season with more peace and more purpose and more wholeness. So I think that's enough for right now. Wouldn't you agree? So I'll see you in the next video, Teacher Bestie. Until next time, I'm Patrice, and this is Keeping It Teacherish. Bye, guys.